everybody. I'm Irma Baker. Welcome to our show. It's so good to have you tuning in to us today. And I'm so pleased today to be talking to someone who is just she represents just a wonderful organization here within Wadsworth. So I'd like to introduce you to Melanie Rains, the Executive Director of FISH. Melanie, so great to have you with us.
Thank you for having me.
And, you know, FISH, I have heard about it, and we've talked to some people in the past who have been involved in FISH. But for you, you're very new to FISH. You got your initiation to FISH during the pandemic.
That's correct.
So this is quite a change for everybody, and I'm sure that with everything that's been going on, FISH has had to be very active. So tell us a little bit. First of all, what is FISH?
So Wadsworth FISH is something that started back in around 1969 right here in Wadsworth. Very quickly it grew from a small pool of volunteers, and we became incorporated as a 501c3b. We are a faith-based nonprofit. We're an ecumenical group, and we are all volunteers right from the beginning and up until now. We provide financial assistance to those who live in Wadsworth and Wadsworth Township. If someone says they have a need and they come and see us, we have open ears and loving hearts. It's a very simple process, but it does kind of come in two different forms, the financial assistance element and the compassionate support. So we help people with rent payments, utility bills, and emergency food assistance. And the compassionate support is really just, serving people right, without discrimination, without any kind of judgment, and just saying, how can we help you? And not only providing that support, but then connecting them with other resources that can help them as well.
Well, that sounds like that's a very expansive mission. And I don't think you have much staff, do you?
Well, I love that you use the word mission. It is definitely a service. Years ago, the slogan, and it's kind of caught on, is neighbors serving neighbors. That's what's on our sign. Neighbors serving neighbors since 1969. And it truly is, having an open heart to, when someone says that they need help, whatever that looks like, especially those who come in and maybe they don't know how we can help them. Our volunteers sit down with them and say, how can we help you? And so yes, we have a small pool of volunteers that have served faithfully for a very long time. Typically each volunteer that sits on our board represents a different church family right here in Wadsworth. And so the ecumenical part is truly that diverse faith representation across the whole area. And so we are currently looking for volunteers. Our biggest thing is Mondays and Tuesdays when we're open to the public. We are located at 150 College Street, which is a new and permanent home for our organization. And so neighbors come between 6 and 8 p.m. on Mondays and Tuesdays. And so it's just a couple hours to come and volunteer, whether you come a couple times a year or you decide this is something you want to do more full-time. We would love to have you. The other way people are involved with our organization is with our Christmas program, which is something that we're kind of in full swing with right now. And then because we are building owners at this time, we have people who maybe want to come in during the day and help sweep or clean or keep things organized or help with paperwork. We have a lot of different opportunities, and they're very low-key and low-stressful.
It does sound like it's an organization where if someone volunteers, I'm probably not the right word to use, but it doesn't sound like you get stuck with it.
No, you know what? I've spoken to people recently even about, high school volunteers. There's some students that have to log volunteer hours, and so we did have one student this past year who helped with some paperwork and some things to prepare for last Christmas. And there was no client involvement, right? We are big on confidentiality, and this was something that she was able to do from home and still get those volunteer hours logged. And so there's a lot of flexibility in our organization, and the dedication can be whatever you want it to be.
Oh, that really makes it an ideal local neighborhood type of opportunity for volunteer work.
Yes, I would agree.
Well, let's look on the other side. The people that these volunteers are serving and helping, what do people need? You mentioned things like rent assistance and that. That's got to be a very murky area.
Well, it's something that we have become, if I could use the word, specialized in over the years, right? There are lots of nonprofits across the area, and we all serve different roles in helping the community members. And so financial assistance for Wadsworth Fish looks like a rent payment. So we send payment to the landlord directly, and so we have to have permission for the landlord to receive payment from us. And so there's a partnership there. Our payment goes directly to them, and more times than not, they're from this area, and so it feeds into the local economy. The same thing can be said about utility bills. The payment goes directly to the utility company, and so we pay that on behalf of the client. Our emergency food assistance does go to the client. It's looked different over the years based on what the stores look like in town. For example, Hometown Market, we had a great partnership with them. Of course, they're not in business anymore, and so now we provide gift cards for the Save a Lot. The location is ideal. It's downtown, just like our office, and it's within walking distance. So the reality of our clients who maybe have needs in regards to transportation, it's still accessible for them, and it allows a little bit of personalization to use a gift card. Maybe they just need a few things now and a few things later, and so that personalization, any kind of dietary restrictions they may have, it really is quite flexible, and we've gotten a good response from that. So financial assistance is very diverse, but it's always more than just helping them pay a bill. You know, there's a very relational aspect to it.
Well, this isn't an organization, though, that says, okay, from now going on, we're paying all your bills.
Right, yes, we do have, policies in place. So in order to receive assistance, you have to ask, you have to fill out an application. There is, a photo ID, a current photo ID, and then a proof of residency. So that comes in the form of a lease if you're requesting help with rent, or the utility bill that you're needing help with. And so, there's the assistance that we provide, but they do have to do some work on their end, and you can come back in 90 days to get assistance again. And so that allows for up to 4 times a year. Our amounts that we provide does slightly decrease with each visit, and so that allows a little bit of protection for our organization to where no one can really truly become dependent on our programs. We do have a lot of people who come once a year or maybe once ever, and then others who do need us, to help fill that gap on a more regular basis.
Well, it sounds like the way your program is designed is very respectful of people, because it sounds like you're not looking for to be someone or an organization where people just come and look for a handout, but actually helping people with emergency needs.
Yes, and so that word emergency is very key. Our mission is we provide emergency financial assistance. And so it truly is, something comes up and your finances are redirected to take care of that emergency. So you may need help with the basics in life. And so those who have faithfully donated to our program fall in line with that mission of where does that money go? We're very clear and transparent about that. Everybody's treated equally that seeks assistance. The process has been the same for over 50 years. And so those are things that do not need changed. And yet other things, we do need to be more flexible on, just to be aware and always in tune with the needs of our community.
Well, we're going into the winter time, a time that can be very stressful for people, pandemic or not. It can be a very stressful time. And the holidays add to that. So one of your biggest outreaches to the community is through a Christmas project. Tell us about that.
Yes, so our Christmas project has a different name this year, but it is still very much in tune with previous programs, where if you need help at Christmas, you can come to us. And so it is called the Bare Essentials Christmas Program. And it's just those essentials in life, right? Personal care products, bath items, cleaning supplies, that really in the last few years are quite hard to get your hand on sometime. And the price of them, kind of makes them unbearable, right? So if we can help people with those basics in life, then they can use their money a little bit in a smarter fashion, right? We're helping with the basics, so it relieves their budget a bit to be used elsewhere. And so instead of truly providing presents for children, we're providing items for entire households. And so previously, some of the rules that were in place have been changed. And so now you can actually receive assistance from FISH along with other programs. And that is mainly that toy component that we removed. And yet you can be a single household, or you can be a household with or without school-age children, and you still qualify. And so that is something that we've been accepting applications for during the entire month of October. So we're coming to an end of it there. And we'll have our big donor drive in November. So anyone that wants to participate can reach out to us by email, by phone. There is a volunteer link on our website if anyone wants to actively help with that, whether it's organizing or preparing the baskets. And so, yeah, it's a very, very busy time right now, very exciting. Christmas is upon us, yes, and there are a lot of people who just need that personal relationship with others. So physically coming into our building and receiving these items and having to be a joyful holiday experience, there's a lot of people hurting, and so they can use a little bit of joy.
Well, you're actually giving out tangible items. Where do they all come from?
Yes, so we're asking just for donations. We have people who are still adopting families. So the giving trees at churches, the giving trees at businesses, where you have a gift tag and an item on the back that you donate and return. You can still adopt a family in its entirety if you want. So that's something that is still true to our organization and has not changed. But we just want to just bless these people with an abundance of these basic necessities. I envision trees made out of toilet paper and people having an abundance of bubble bath and whatever it is, it's those everyday items, pull it off your shelf, and if it gives them a smile knowing they got it from FISH and a neighbor, someone that didn't even know them and yet they gave right out of the abundance of their heart. That's what we want, is for people to have that joy even after the holiday, after all of the holiday season.
Well, if someone wants to donate some items, how do they go about that? Do they bring them, excuse me, do they bring them to your office on Monday and Tuesday evenings, or is there another donation drop-off, or is it all through organizations? Just how does it work?
Yeah, that's a great question. We have all of those and more. If you just want to run it in on a Monday and Tuesday when we're open, then we will accept it. If you want to do more of a coordinated, you have a small group or maybe a book club that you're with and you go, hey, we want to donate some of these things, we're only a phone call away, and we have a Christmas committee, and we'll kind of all be ready to go at different times and different days of the week, and we're more than happy to come and pick it up from you if that's what you prefer.
My goodness, home pickup service, that's great.
Well, the pandemic is still ongoing, and everybody's comfortability is still very diverse. And so if someone wants to donate and let's say they're still quite homebound, we will do what we need to do to coordinate and partner with them.
This is such a well-organized opportunity. And I keep calling it an opportunity because organization sounds so cold, so distant. But this is an opportunity in all ways, an opportunity for people who need the help to approach you for it. And it's also an opportunity for people to provide help. And it sounds like it doesn't have to be a big thing.
It doesn't. I would challenge people right now to check and see what they have at home. If they have a personal care item, a bath item, a cleaning supply that's new and unused, bring it off your shelf and donate it. These are things that most of us keep, in abundance in our homes. And so I believe everyone has at least one thing that they can give without spending any money, without any grocery store trips or anything.
Oh, that makes it accessible to anybody who wants to participate in the program. So, Melanie, well, before I ask my next question, I have an interim question, let's call it that. If people do want to participate in any way, how do they reach you?
Well, you can reach us by phone. The hotline has been around since before my time. And so always, you can leave us a message and a volunteer will get back with you. We have email now. And then, of course, there's our website. I think more often than not, most people kind of just Google fish and we come up for the Wadsworth area. And so there's a lot of whatever's convenient for you, there's a way to connect with us.
And that leads me to the next question, something you said in just a few seconds ago, and that is, how in the world did you get involved with fish?
Gosh, so I have had the privilege of serving as director of Wadsworth Fish since July of 2020. The previous director came to a point where she retired, and for most people, you know, it's kind of been a blink, right? This year is kind of a time warp. And yet, reflecting on how did I even first find out about fish, I'm taken back to when our oldest was in kindergarten right here in Wadsworth, and we were brand new, didn't know anything about the area. And so what we learned was through the school district. And there was a child that was adopted at his school that we participated in donating to, and we began learning of all these different nonprofits and church organizations right here in Wadsworth. Of course, fast forward several years, he's in high school now, and there was just a little blip in one of the last few printed Post newspapers about the previous director retiring, and fish had a need. And I remember cutting it out and holding on to it and going, okay, maybe, you know, would this work? And after some thought, I met with Lucy Harvey, the previous director, and Len Marr, the board president. I'm a detailed person, so I had lots of questions, and they were very patient with me. And then I decided, yeah, this is what I feel I can contribute to in regards to our community and our neighbors. And so for me, it's been a great fit. Despite the pandemic, I think I would have made the choice regardless. So yeah, that's how I first found out about fish, and that's what brought me to fish.
Oh, that is a wonderful, wonderful background that you have there. Had you ever done anything on this order?
I had not done anything. I'd never volunteered on a Monday or Tuesday. We've donated items, and yet I really didn't know that much about fish, but I recognized there was a need. And after speaking with them and inquiring, I thought, I think I could do that. I think, you know, it's been a lot more in the public eye than I think I ever realized. And yet, I just love people. I love listening and encouraging them. And so for me, it's a great fit.
Oh, it certainly sounds like you fit right in. It's a great fit for fish to have you as part of the organization. And when you took on the job, of course, coming from, as you said, not having any direct involvement with it before, did things surprise you, or what was your reaction when you actually got to dig into the job?
Well, I realized just how much Wadsworth Fish does. You know, if you read it in writing, oh, we help pay a bill, it's so much more than that. There's a relational component. There's volunteers that have open hearts, you know, that just truly love on people. And someone could come into our building and be on the other end of that, where they're like, how can I help? What can I donate? We would get a phone call about something, and, well, that's not something we can help directly with, but let's connect you with someone that can. And so despite all the diverse organizations out there, fish seems to be just this constant thread right through the timeline of our community that's just always been there. And it's because our volunteers are from our community, serving members of the community. And so it really is just a very unique and fun organization to be a part of.
You mentioned connecting people with other resources in the area. You have a lot of community partners too, don't you?
We do, and that's one of the fun things we've really embraced with having a physical building, a permanent location, is we have a great resource table now. we actually have a permanent area to say, we're here and we're going to be here for future generations. And so if you need help, this is where you come. And yet, it's all about, collaboration and communication. And it doesn't just happen in our building. That happens across the community. It happens across the county. And so, yeah, it's a very unique relationship that we have, and we're very thankful for those as well.
You must have had to really bone up on the community when you took on this job. Learning about the different community resources.
Yes, yeah. Thank you for clarifying. I was thinking Halloween when you asked that. So prior to actually stepping in as director of Fish, just being an active community member, we have 3 children in Wadsworth City Schools, and they do a great job of letting families know what's available in the community. The City of Wadsworth website has a ton of information out there. And so for me, I had a lot of, minor working knowledge of all these different groups, and then having the privilege of actually being able to talk, with leadership at other groups. It's really quite fun for me to say, have you ever thought of this? Or what if we did this together? And we've lived here for long enough to have roots, to where people who know me know I'm very consistent and I'm very loving towards everyone. And yet we're just enough of an outsider to say, well, have you thought of this? Or have we ever tried this? And enough to be a dreamer, if you will.
And dreaming is something that maybe has been in short supply over the last year or so with the pandemic and everything that we've been going through with that. So last year then, 2020, was your first experience with the Christmas project.
It was, yes. And, I think a lot of organizations felt this, just the constraint that the pandemic put on a lot of people. And a lot of our volunteers were homebound, rightfully so. And so we have a very faithful group that serves at Wadsworth Fish, despite a pandemic or not. And so, yes, I helped lead us through Christmas last year, and we're doing it again this year, and just very excited about the future. And it's just a very joyful time of year. A lot of people love just loving others in abundance and giving. So we're very fortunate to serve in a community such as Wadsworth.
Were you surprised that there was a need for that kind of organization here in Wadsworth?
I'm not surprised. My husband and I have lived in several different places, and so I've had exposure to different nonprofits and different charity organizations, along with various agencies that help people on a more regular basis. What surprised me and continues to, I'm just always amazed, is our volunteers. Each and every person has always been a volunteer. And I realize a lot of organizations are volunteer run, but we're volunteer led as well, and I think that that's very important.
Oh, it certainly is the community coming together, whether it's the individual volunteers or the churches or the businesses in the area all coming together to provide something of a great need.
Yes, and I think the fact that all of our churches come together and are represented through an organization such as Wadsworth Fish is so necessary right now. There's just so much division just globally, and yet here's this little organization in Wadsworth, Ohio, and we're an ecumenical group, and we serve, together collectively. Every board member brings something different to the table, different personalities, different giftings, different experiences. And so, yeah, it's quite fun. I'm very thankful for each of our board members. They really are a great group to serve with.
It's a marvelous addition here to the community. As you said, it's been around for more than 50 years already, and I know some of the people that have been involved here have been involved in Fish from the very beginning. Tell us again how people can get in touch with you.
Yes, so we have our hotline, we have our email, we have our website, and of course if you just want to come in person, we are open on Mondays and Tuesdays between 6 and 8 p.m.
And tell us again where you are, where this wonderful building is that you have
Yes.
now.
So we are on the corner of Pardee and College. We're at 150 College Street, just west of the downtown center.
And if people want to look you up online, they just go do a Google search or anything like that?
We are just wadsworthfish.org.
Wadsworthfish.org. That does it right there.
Yep.
Is there anything else that you feel we should know? You are so enthusiastic about it and so very much committed.
Well, I realize the history that I've stepped into, and it really is because of two very important groups, and that is those who have donated, given of their time, given of their resources, churches who have supported us. We're so thankful for them. But then also those who actually, share their story with us and ask for help. That is something that's vital. And so we're so thankful for our donors and for those that request assistance.
Well, I thank you very much for being here. I thank Fish for being so much of a gift and a blessing to the community. And I thank all of you for tuning in today to watch us. And I hope that we'll see you next time. For everyone here at RSVP, I'm Irma Baker. Have a wonderful day.
Watching WCTV, Wadsworth Community Television.